Hello vintage snowmobile fanatics. So today I have a 1976 skiroule laser. I actually picked this sled up 3 days ago from a local farmer. Drug it out of the corn crib there, and motor was locked up tight. It's actually in immaculate shape, and the amount of documentation that came with it is astounding. You know, I mean, look at this stuff. You never see this. The original How to Take Care of Your 2-Cycle Engines book from Skiroule, the Skiroule Owner's Manual, and HMK Company. I don't know what's different between HMK and Coleman. I know somewhere in that time it changed. I don't know the exact differences. Then this Snowmobiler Safety Handbook. I don't think that's a Skiroule book because it copyright dates 78, and this is a 76 snowmobile. So I learned a couple valuable lessons about skiroules already with this machine because I've never had a skiroule. I was warned about this hood being a box of eggs and that it could easily break. I guess I wasn't aware of how easy it could break. It did not have any cracks in it when I got it. And there's a goofy hood mechanism inside this thing. And evidently it was locked up. I grabbed the hood to open it, and I broke it off the hinge. 100% my fault. I should have known better. I've been working on vintage sleds ever since I was a kid. I should have known that. Should have listened to the guys that have owned these before, and I didn't. I got excited and was happy I got the motor free. Like I said, the motor was locked up. The mice had moved into the air box, filling the air box full of hay, corn cobs, just all sorts of stuff. And so what I wound up doing is a trick I've learned with vintage snowmobiles that have been locked up, is I'll fill the cylinders with automatic transmission fluid, or ATF, and the stuff just creeps like crazy. And it went right down the cylinders, right into the crank, and literally it sat overnight, and I came out and it came free. It had great compression. I did flush the crank out with oil. So like on a Kohler, there's drain ports on the bottom of a motor. Not all motors have them, but a lot of them seem to with 2-strokes. The Kohler, it's nice, they've got them on like bank 1 and 2. And I was able to just flush the crank out, and I took the intake off of it, and I kept dumping oil down both sides and flushing the crank. Now I know the right thing to do is just pull this motor, split the case, put new bearings in the crank, new crank seals. That would be the right thing to do. You know, and for me, I'm not a skiroule guy. I got it for, a good deal. I got it running. I converted it over to a Mikuni carburetor instead of the Walbro F16 that was on it, because unfortunately the Walbro is no longer usable because the mice corroded the carburetor so badly that, honest to God, you can't even get the thing to move. It is so destroyed. I will show you guys in this video later the condition of the carburetor, but the carburetor did save the motor, and I got lucky that whenever it was ran last, both pistons were at equal, so they're both centered in the intake port, so it blocked off a lot of debris getting down to the crank. I took an inspection camera and I looked in there, and it looked pretty decent. So like, this hood is just the goofiest mechanism though. So you gotta like lift this tab, pull this down, and this spring drops out of the way. It's really a goofy setup. Don't mind my homemade choke cable here to make it run. I jetted it like a trail fire. See, and then that just drops out of the way. Really a goofy design, but kind of neat. And gentle as heck with this hood here. So here we have a Kohler, which is a 2AS, a K340 2AS motor. This, like I said, this is supposed to have a Walbro F16 carburetor on it. I put a John Deere Trailfire 34mm Mikuni VM on it and jetted it as a Trailfire, and it seems to like it pretty well. I am running 40-to-1 mix just to be safe. The sled, it's a shame the carburetor is so bad because it had its original airbox and intake, and it was just so corroded. The airbox is still good, not broken. I just pull it off. But even these shrouds are all here. Like I said, there's supposed to be a bracket right here in the hood. I wasn't aware of that until I broke the hood. So this is my fix here with fiberglass and epoxy. Lesson learned there. I don't know what all this red resin is inside the hood. This is the goofiest clutch I've ever seen. I can't really see it now because I got this guard on there, but it is the goofiest clutch you ever did see. It's kind of cool. They come with a cylinder temp gauge on the left, and then it's only for the PTO side, and then this is your speedometer, 3,100 miles on it. Let me see if I can get you guys down in here. This is the goofiest primary clutch. I've never seen one before. I don't even have a tool to pull this clutch. And the secondary is in the back here, which is really interesting, like the older sleds. You know, it's not like a modern one. It's just kind of it's like offset design instead of having a jack shaft run across, you know, like through here, like a lot of them did. Press the light ignition. It's got slide rail suspension, which is pretty neat. It's kind of a goofy setup. To get to it, you got to go through this hole to take it out. It's a shame this one fiberglass end piece is busted. I'm going to shut the hood here and be real gentle with it. Gotta be careful with it coming up here to the front here. Hopefully I don't break it here. Hang on. Just... You got these goofy hood latches again. Oh, gotta be careful. As you can see, it already broke once here. It was like that when I got it. Let's start it up here. It's kind of interesting. It's got lights on and off. Smell that Klotz oil. Tail light works. Look at this seat. I mean, this seat is immaculate. Kind of a goofy airbox here. All this stuff you gotta be so gentle with. Oh, that's the original Walbro throttle body cable, throttle cable. There it is. 1976 skiroule laser 340. Thanks for watching. So I'm kind of a terrible filmmaker, as you guys have probably figured out as you've watched my channel here. So this is the original airbox and carburetor, and the reason I say I'm a terrible filmmaker, I'm going to try my best here to cut this into another video. I do not know anything about, I'm not a tech savvy guy, never have been, and we'll try my best here and see if I can cut this into the video they're running. But this is why I had to give up on this original airbox and intake and why I went to Mikuni. This is unfortunately broken, and as you can tell, that is all urine from mice. They moved into this carburetor and they packed this side so full. Thankfully the butterfly was closed on the carburetor. I tried to force it free. I stuck this in boiling oil. I tried everything, but even if I'd have got it free, I was gonna have to try to JB weld the throat of the carburetor, and to get parts for this, I don't even know where to begin. I've never seen this model of carburetor before, this style of Walbro. I've worked on Walbro stacked carburetors before, but never this vertical setup. never seen one of these before. It's called a WF-16. This is the air box that goes with the WF-16. This is what's supposed to be on that skiroule. And the mice that had this thing just full, they crawled in through that little hole there and they move in. So this is what's supposed to be on the skiroule. Unfortunately, I had to go to Mikuni swap. And I'll tell you what, it likes that Mikuni. It sure starts really nice. First pull, roars to life. Well, again, I'll see if I can dub this in. Thanks.